Welcome back to the nation's capital and coming to you live from the CSIR International Convention Centre. And of course, Science Forum South Africa 2024, that's what we're here for, and moved into the hall now. And I must tell you, we've already had some really fascinating conversations about some of the exhibitions that are on show here. Also bumped into a young man that I hope to catch up with later. He, of course, was the winner of the Presidential Small Business Awards, and he's giving a speech here at the Science Forum. And this is, of course, also about getting young people, the youth, involved in science. And I'm joined now by Mr. Daan du Toit. He is the DDG for International Resources and Cooperation in the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you very much, Sakina, and good morning.
So, over 80 exhibitors here in the space, and I was looking around, many countries also coming through to lend their support and cooperation to this event. Talk to us about your expectations, Daan.
When our minister, who's the host of this forum, Professor Blayton Nzimande, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, had opened the forum on Tuesday evening, he put forward a call to action to make sure that we put science at the center of our society, at the center of our government, and at the center of industry. Now, that call of action we can only realize if we have an inclusive, collective effort by everyone in society, everyone in science who share the same interests. And how do we put science at the service of improving the quality of living of all South Africans? So that's why we're here this week. We're here to excite people about science. We're here to talk together on how we can improve the enterprise of science, but most importantly, how can we make sure that science makes a concrete difference in our economy and our society?
And of course, to that point, this event first mooted in 2015,
yes.
And it's been going on. We've been here quite a few times as the SABC, and I must say it gets more and more exciting just looking at the exhibitions every year. But you speak about bringing science to the people. How do we do that in a meaningful way? Unlike when we were growing up, science was seen as abstract.
Exactly. I mean, and that is indeed one of the objectives of this forum, is to almost demystify science. There's sometimes a stereotype image that science is for crazy scientists in white coats and labs. It can intimidate people, and this is not what this is about. Science is for us, and it's by all of us. So it starts with communication, it starts with awareness, and it starts by providing a platform to engage and to debate. And that's why a fundamental principle of this forum is that it's open to everyone, open to anyone with an interest. It is the discussions are not detailed technical discussions, but it's exactly what does science mean? What does science mean for a democratic South Africa, which celebrates 30 years of democracy, and what should science mean for us in the next 30 years of our democracy? So there's a high focus to make sure, and we are delighted to have seen the increase in numbers, but not only the increase in numbers, increase in the diversity. We have everyone here, from CEOs, from multinational companies, to PhD students, to senior learners. This is really about just bringing everyone together with this common purpose.
And a lot of universities also here to showcase what they've been busy with. And this, of course, is also science, technology and innovation about soft diplomacy.
Exactly.
With so many countries where it's not always about trading goods, but sometimes getting in touch on other things to collaborate on.
That's very important to us. When you welcomed the viewers this morning, you rightfully welcome them to our capital, our nation's capital. Now, we also say that the city of Tshwane is also a science diplomacy capital, because it's the largest diplomatic capital in Africa. We have more embassies here than any other African city, but it's also the heartbeat of the South African, and dare I say, the African science system. So there's a big focus on science diplomacy, and this is, dare I say, an enterprise which is much more needed than ever, where we see sadly increased polarization, geopolitics causing tension between the nations. And what science does, it helps us to connect. We like to say that science is a universal language, and science has that ability to bring people together, bring countries together. We may disagree politically, we may have trade disputes, but we can work together on science. Climate change is a great example. We're not going to respond to climate change if all nations of the world don't come together, and science can enable that.
Daan, where would you say we've made the most progress since 2015 by opening up the space, for science and scientific collaboration? Where would you say we've made the most progress?
Well, I will quote someone who was at the origins of this forum, our former minister, Dr. Naledi Pandor, who delivered a keynote address here yesterday. And when we spoke to her about her impressions, she said, the participants have become much younger. And that, I think, really for us is a positive vote of confidence, because it's all about the future. It's about the sustainability of these type of discussions, and that we therefore have enthusiastic buy-in from the next generation, who not only attend, but very vibrant, very active, not intimidated, and participate in the debates. That for us is really a matter of pride.
That's the other part, the debates and the discussions that are also taking place here. Because, as you say, given the geopolitical shifts across the world, there are very real discussions to be had around some of the directions that we're moving in. So just give us a sense of some of the topics that are being deliberated upon this week.
No, exactly. And there's no topic which is off limits here. So, for example, if we look at some of the key science policy questions prominent on the global stage, we, for example, speaking about interface between science and economic diplomacy. How do we ensure that as Africa we truly have industrialization, and that we do not just repeat patterns of the past? And what is the role of science, technology and innovation, for example, to support the Africa Continental Free Trade Area? We're also talking on very crucial topics such as the governance of technology. We all speak about artificial intelligence, what it will mean, how it will disrupt our society. Now, it's very important that when we set the rules for AI, that becomes a collective global enterprise, and the voice of Africa and the voice of the developing world is heard loudly. We're also speaking about human capital development, dynamics of brain drain, brain circulation. How do we as Africa ensure that we invest in our talent, and most importantly, retain our talent? So there's a rich diversity of these topics all on the agenda.
And I'm loving that, because, as you say, there's so much to talk about and to explore. To your point about economic development, there is empirical evidence to show that there's a correlation, a straight line correlation between a nation's ability to, produce at the scientific, innovative level and its growth as per the GDP.
Most certainly. We are standing here in the middle of the exhibition, and just 10 meters from you and I, there are exhibition booths from Finland and also from the People's Republic of China. China has become a science and innovation powerhouse of the world, and that has lifted millions and millions of people out of poverty. Finland, we all know, has successfully transformed its economy into a leading digital economy. So these are the examples we can learn from, which can inspire us, but most importantly, of course, we have to do it in our own context. And that is why science, technology and innovation, we're very privileged to say, is also at the heart of the agenda of the 7th administration.
And it has to be. Africa also a very young continent, and there's a great hope that Africa could take a leading role with the development of AI as well.
Most certainly. We often speak about a demographic dividend, but of course that will not happen automatically. It means that we as Africa have to invest. We have to invest in education, we have to invest in science, technology and innovation. Just a few weeks ago, the African Union adopted a new strategy for science, technology and innovation in the continent for the next 10 years. But what's very important is that cannot be a strategy which stays in Addis Ababa. It cannot just be a strategy for the governments. It has to be a strategy for all of us, because the future is bright. There are exciting prospects, but we all have to work together to achieve that.
So with regard to investment in education, yes, South Africa does that, spends a sizable amount of its GDP on education, but when it comes to specifically investing in science and technology or STEM subjects, are we doing enough? Are we spending enough?
We need to do more. That's unequivocal. Minister Nzimande also said this when he opened the forum. So we have countries of the world, we use a metric, the percentage of our GDP, which we spend on research and development. South Africa, we would like to be at 1.5% of GDP. Sadly, we are much closer to 0.7. So we need to do more. I think it is, we can be proud that in difficult economic circumstances, with huge pressures on our public finance, our government's maintaining its investment in science, technology and innovation. We are working very hard to increase it, but what is crucial and an important part of this forum, we need a private sector. We need business to invest more in science, technology and innovation. And that's part of our discussions this week. What incentives can we as government provide? What public-private partnerships can we do so that we increase that investment? Yes, we are investing, but not enough.
And of course, this is mutually beneficial.
Of course.
And we know the fabulous work, as we have been broadcasting from here over the years, that the CSIR does. So, you know, what is business saying? Why are they still a bit apprehensive?
Precisely. CSIR is a public-funded institution, and it's there as a resource to stimulate economic growth and industrial development in our country. There would be various reasons. I mean, difficult economic times, sadly, and it's not unique to South Africa. We often see when times are tough, where companies cut, it's on the R&D budget, but it should actually be the opposite, because it's when times are difficult you have to prepare for tomorrow. So we're having that frank discussion. Minister Nzimande has met many of our business leaders to understand what we can do. Are there regulatory constraints? Can we, for example, adapt? We have a tax incentive program. Can we propose innovative partnerships to encourage that investment? We believe that for our president, partnership with business is absolutely crucial to advance our country's economic agenda, and science, technology and innovation is definitely going to be part of that effort.
Daan du Toit, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Sakina.
And of course, the DDG speaking to us. We're going to, when we come back here, take you on a little walk through this exhibition hall to show you some of what is on offer, and it really is very exciting.